Everything just fell perfectly into place for the Toronto Raptors as Shams just dropped a bombshell trade report that frankly flipped the trade market straight on its head. Of course, RJ Barrett's been linked in a ton of trade reports and rumors over the past few months, and now the market for a wing around the caliber of RJ Barrett has just skyrocketed. So we're going to break down what's going on with the current trade market, what we can expect from this Toronto Raptors team now going forward in these trade negotiations, and why Masai Ujiri is currently very happy with what's developing out there in the league. So lots of stuff to break down in this video. Of course, we've been covering all the updates regarding the Toronto Raptors hunting, going out big fish hunting, looking to acquire some big names out there in the trade market. And frankly, everything just fell perfectly in order for what Masai Ujiri is hoping. So you want to stay up to date with it all, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Over 47% haven't done it just yet, and we want to keep you up to date with everything that's going on here. So what is going on? What's happening? Because we've heard a lot of rumblings, a lot of trade rumors, a lot of stuff the Toronto Raptors are getting involved in, but the first domino just fell. The first big trade just happened. The NBA Finals are still ongoing. So what's going on that really turned the NBA on its head today? Well, Shams dropped that the Memphis Grizzlies are trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 unprotected first-round picks and 1 first-round pick swap. Now, looking at that is absolutely wild. That is a big, massive trade package there for Desmond Bane. I get why the Orlando Magic are doing it. I'm not criticizing Jeff Weltman for making this deal, making this trade. They, of course, want to improve, are in the same position as the Toronto Raptors, wanting to take advantage of the wide open Eastern Conference, and they have some young talent out there on that Magic team. So I get why they want to bring in a Desmond Bane who is a very strong shooter, plays defense. There's a lot of really positive things out there on the court. This is not a disrespect vid or anything like that to Desmond Bane, but 5 first-round picks. 5 first-round picks. I repeat, 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, along with a Cole Anthony and KCP. Again, KCP had a horrible season last year. Probably be viewed as a liability rather than an asset in a trade, just given his contract and stuff. But still, a couple seasons ago, is a few seasons removed from being on an NBA champion, a valuable 3-and-D player, as well as a Cole Anthony who does have some upside, has had some good moments out there at the guard position. That is a haul to give up. And an absolute I don't want to say robbery, but a lot of assets coming back for the Grizzlies in that trade package. Now, you look at this and you say, Ben, why is Masai Ujiri happy about this? Why are you so, Desmond Bane, he's like the bee's knees. He's the guy that we'd be all excited about. Like, Raptors don't have a guy like that. Well, let's really dive into things, because if we take a look at the stats, if we get into the nitty gritty with who Desmond Bane is as a basketball player and all that, last season averaged 19 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 39% from the three-point line, and 30% out there on corner threes. He's 27 years old, and in 10 days, he's going to be 27 years old. He shot 48% from the field. He's a good basketball player. Don't get me wrong. Really strong, athletic, knocks down shots, and all of these types of things. But Desmond Bane hauled 5 first-round picks. And the guy that the Raptors have put out in trade, people are saying RJ Barrett is chop liver. He's a guy that, the Raptors should have to give up salary, dump, all this. No one wants him, bad contract, yada, yada, yada. When we look again at Desmond Bane's stats last season, and we compare them to RJ Barrett's stats, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Yes, he is shooting 4% less from the three-point line, but shooting almost 10% more on corner 3%. You see at the bottom right, 30% on corner threes for Desmond Bane and 40% on corner threes for RJ Barrett. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue that RJ Barrett's the better player than Desmond Bane. There's a lot on the defensive end that Desmond Bane certainly provides, and, he is a much better movement shooter, so even though the percentages are better for RJ Barrett, and the spot-up ones are clear, he is a better corner 3 shooter, so that is one thing to be brought up, but you can see 92% of RJ Barrett's threes are assisted upon, while Desmond Bane's 63% of his shots are assisted upon on 3-point shots. So, Desmond Bane is a better shooter. He takes tougher looks, so that's why his percentages are a little bit different. And overall, his 3-point percentage is higher, so he's a better movement shooter. So overall, is the better shooter than RJ Barrett. But I'd argue RJ Barrett's a much better, maybe not much better, but a better slasher, finisher around the basket. Not as good of a defender, but there are, weights and balances to their game. I think these are two very comparable players. Yes, Desmond Bane gets the edge, but he is 3 years older than RJ Barrett, and the one thing to look at as well when regarding trade value and all this, RJ Barrett's just a bad contract, all this nonsense. We look at Desmond Bane's contract. And the 2024-2025 season has already happened. But he's making $36 million, $39 million, $42 million, and then $45 million out in 2028-2029. Now, in the era of cap flexibility, in the era of wanting cheap deals and all that, that's expensive. That's expensive for a guy averaging 19 points per game. Now, his previous season was better. He's dealt with some injuries and stuff. But RJ Barrett's contract is way more flexible and way cheaper. $27 million next season and $29 million the year after. Why are people out here screaming? We've seen legitimate reports, legitimate trade proposals from SLI, from these publications saying, the Raptors should dump RJ Barrett for Marcus Smart and take on bad contracts, whatever the heck it is, to get off multiple years of RJ Barrett. Where Desmond Bane just netted the Memphis Grizzlies two solid players out there in the league. Yes, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a negative asset right now. And 5 firsts. 4 unprotected firsts. What are we doing? What is the discussions that are going on here in this world, in this atmosphere? And frankly, Masai Ujiri sees this, and we know how strong of a negotiator Masai Ujiri is, and how he can put things together, how valuable these types of players out there in the league are here now at this point. And RJ Barrett is a guy, he's getting a bad rep. He doesn't get the credit. He doesn't get the, recognition that he deserves. But if he's going to be out there in trade negotiations, and this is the market for players at that caliber, yes, Desmond Bane is a level above, a little bit of, above RJ Barrett. But RJ Barrett needs some respect out here in these discussions. He's on a better contract. He's younger. He's developing. He has that better spot-up shot, even if it's, different shots, different shooting style games and all that. I think we need to have a serious look in terms of the trade packages, in terms of the value of these types of guys out there in the NBA. And then, with all the reports, with all the chatter, because the reality is the Raptors are getting tight to the tax line. And then if it's true, what we're saying, what we're hearing about Masai Ujiri looking to get big fish, looking to make moves, looking to adjust the roster and all of these types of things, big fish hunting. If RJ Barrett's going to be in these trade packages, because as I've discussed a multitude of times out here on the podcast, and I didn't bring the screenshot for this video, but RJ Barrett's kind of the guy that's getting dangled out there in these big fish talks, right? He's the player that has a big contract that the Raptors seem willing. They were willing to discuss him in trade negotiations with the New Orleans Pelicans at this year's trade deadline. I mean, RJ Barrett, if this is what Desmond Bane is netting the Memphis Grizzlies, there needs to be a serious package sent the way of the Toronto Raptors if a deal is going to go down. That's just the reality of it. That's just the truth. That's just what I am going to stand on. And if we end up salary dumping RJ Barrett, if we end up just having him as a throw-in in some garbage trade package or trade proposal, I am going to be infuriated. I know, all the quest for Kevin Durant, it's all serious, and KD would be cool and all that. But if it's RJ Barrett, Yak, and picks and stuff, and then we see a Desmond Bane go for 5 first-round picks and 2 solid players, that is poor asset management. KD would be cool, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be interested in bringing in a KD, all that type of stuff. But if this is the value that Desmond Bane is netting you, if this is the reality, with his contract, with everything that's going on, with him being older, with his injury situation too, he's been more injured than RJ Barrett. If these are all factors that we're taking a look at, and he nets you 5 firsts and 2 players, and Masai Ujiri can't get, trades. I don't want to trade RJ Barrett, but if he trades them and we don't get serious assets back, that's when we have some conversations. That's when we have some discourse. That's when we have some discussions about what is the asset management that's going on with the Toronto Raptors right now, because that would be very disappointing. So, wanted to bring that all into place. Everything's falling in place for the Raptors to get a massive haul the way the market's looking with Desmond Bane, with all this. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Do you think RJ Barrett's going to get traded? Do you think we'll be able to get 5 firsts for him? Let me know in the comment section. Anyways, I'm signing out.